Welcome to Conscious Coupling, where Frederic and Christy Whitman share their experiences of creating a conscious, connected relationship. Every week, they give practical tools, steps, and processes to help you find the loving connection with your partner. Let's get into today's conversation with Frederic and Christy.
I know what I want in life.
So would you like to share it with me?
Yes, because we're in a couple.
Well, thank you.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, it's Frederic and Christy.
Hello, welcome to Conscious Connected Coupling. So this conversation that we just kind of, gave you as an example. It's an important part of a relationship to have these conversations, because when you think about it, there's many different aspects to a relationship. You've got yourselves and what each individual person wants to experience in, their travel and leisure, in what they want to do with money, if you're a spender, if you're a saver, if you have kids. When you have kids in a relationship, it's very different than if you're just a couple and have an animal, right? You might have kids and an animal, or whether you have just an animal, or you're just by yourselves, depending on your configuration of your relationship. There's also, what do you do with the family, the extended family? His side, your side, my side, his side, all of that. Where do you want to spend your vacations, your time off? If you get limited amount of time off during a year for vacations, where do you want to spend it? What do you want to be doing? Do you want to go camping, or do you want to go to a 5-star luxury hotel in Bali? So, these things are really important so that both people, you're together moving in the same direction, but you're also doing it as a couple, so that both of you get your own individual needs met and what you desire in your life, but that you're sharing it together. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, is your couple's vision.
That's what I was going to say. The point is...
What did you say with the point?
We have to determine what our vision is. A lot of it, in business, right? You need to establish in your action plan where you're going, where your vision is, and in a relationship, the same thing applies. I know that we do it often. Every year at least, we sit down together and we look at what's our vision together. How do we want to see our couple in the next year? What is it? What are the momentums, the mementos that we want to feel? What are the vacations that we want to go to? What are the things that we want to do together? So in every aspects of our relationship as well, we try to look at all of these and determine where do we each go as a couple, and also what is the vision as individually as well.
So you got it on a macro level, like what do you want for your life? And then you can bring it to a micro level. And when you know these things and you can plan for, here's our vision, if something doesn't go the way we want, what are our choices, right? So I'll give an example. For around the time of Thanksgiving, the boys were going to be at their school doing a turkey trot, which is where they run a mile and they compete with the boys that are in their grade. And both our boys won, which is really cool. But for me, I took the morning off because I wanted to see them participate in this turkey trot. And so it was important, and yet at the same time, the school had told me we're gonna be done with it by 10:30. So I thought, okay, so I scheduled things at 11 o'clock, figuring travel time to get back home. We gotta bring the dog, Jackson, to his groomers, and I had a team meeting. And so I had told Frederic in the morning, here's the vision for the day. We need to be done and in the car by 10:30. And he's like, well, what if that doesn't happen? What's the priority? So for example, if it runs longer and we're going to be late to bring Jax to the grooming appointment, can we change the appointment?
What are our options? What
Right.
What are the things that we are willing to do in order to make sure that we're not in a stressful place
Right.
at 11 o'clock, and we're not in a place of, okay, we need to leave, or what can we do in order to call someone and to say, can we push an appointment back? Can we delay it, postpone it, whatever we need to do.
But the point was, as we decided, like, what's the priority? I mean, you know, if we get to 10:30 and the boys haven't run yet, what's the priority? Seeing them run? Or bringing the dog to the groomers, or, you know, can you call the team if you're going to be a bit late? The priority, obviously, was to see the boys do their run.
Right.
And so because we had that, even though it was on a micro level, just for that short period of time of that segment of our day, we were able to talk about clearly seeing the boys run. That's the priority for both of us. So if it goes longer, everything else needs to get pushed aside or adjusted or, you know, corrected or whatever we need to do, because that's the vision. And having those kind of conversations as we go in our day-to-day, that's what helps us stay communicated. We have one of the boys' friends spending the night on Saturday night, and we've talked about together and as a family, what's the vision? Like, what are we going to do with Bennett? What are we going to do when, you know, when it's time to go to sleep? You know, where are they going to sleep? Like, we have all these different things that we talk about. Now we can adjust and be in the moment and, you know, have obviously flow and freedom come in too. But it's like we have a vision that they're not going to be up till 3 or 4 in the morning. It's just not going to happen. And if it is, they're going to be in the room quiet, because I will be a cranky biatch if I don't get sleep. So we've talked cranky biatch. So we've talked about these things as our, you know, macro vision, but we also have our micro we also have our big vision, right? Where do we want to go, and what places do we want to go next and see next, and, you know, what do we want to do with money and situations with money? What do we want to do with our family, and, you know, how much time is good to, you know, spend doing leisurely things together, and also you know, him playing golf and me being with my girlfriends and things like that.
And where do we want to live, right? Do we want to live in an area where there's more water, like we're seeing behind us? Or do we just live in an area where it's just beautiful in the wintertime, just like Arizona? There's no winters, but we have to deal with the heat in the summertime. So all of this, right? What are our living situation, right? With our house, what type of house do we want to be living into? All these things, I mean, these things, what happens is we get to communicate with each other, and we also get to hear out and understand each other.
And get to know each other.
And that's how you become more intimate with each other.
Yeah.
And in these types of conversation, you get to know more and more of what's going on with your partner.
And so there's 2 ways of doing this. So contrast gives way. Contrast meaning what you don't want, a situation, maybe drama with a family member, or, you know, something doesn't go as smoothly as you want it to. You know, maybe it just is too stressful. Even the holidays, like we've talked about what are our vision for the holidays. Last year I was like, I'm done with doing the big, huge, you know, extended cousins and family. I'm like, I just want it to be intimate. And he's like, oh my God, I'd love that too. So that's what we're designing for our holidays, you know, to be able to do that this year, to have it be just an intimate, uncles, my mom and dad, my family, you know, our kids, and that's it. So contrast, what doesn't feel good, what we don't want, gives way to a beautiful conversation. Most people stay stuck in the contrast, and they have arguments over the contrast, and they stay focused on the problem. Instead, if you can pivot away from the problem and say, okay, this is what we clearly don't want anymore. What do we want? What would feel good to us? And then that's where, you know, the different layers of what we teach here on this podcast and what we do in our couples retreats and in our couples coaching, that's where all that comes. Because once you say, well, I'd rather do a smaller family, you know, holiday, gathering, Christmas, well, then you're going to have to set boundaries with the larger part of the family that's been doing it for decades, right? So that's where boundaries come in, and this is how I feel, and this is what I prefer. And so that's where it's like, it's all layers on top of it. But contrast gives way. It can give way. It could be a really beautiful thing for you to get clarity, to know yourself, to know your partner. Because as time goes on, as decades go on, however long you've been with your partner, things change, desires change.
Exactly. It's not the same thing over and over again. We get older, we grow, we mature, and just in the health example, We don't want to eat the same things over and over again. And we decide just some changes. We decide that we want to be healthier. We want to go to the gym more often, or go out for on a hike more often. And so these habits will change over time.
Yep. But it's important to talk as a vision. So there's the contrast that gives way to the vision. And then there's that feeling of like, I'm desiring something. I feel like I want to go on a trip, or I feel like I want to do something different. So the two ways of looking at how you can start creating your visions from that big macro level are, what is your things that are frustrating you, or that you're angry about, or that you're disappointed about? What are the things that you're not enjoying in your relationship, and what aspect is it? It's not the whole relationship, right? It might be you're happy in many aspects of the relationship, but you're wanting more romance time, you're wanting more travel time, you're wanting more intimate time, you're wanting more, just connections without distractions. That's what our episode next time is going to be on, is the distractions that come in a relationship. So what's the contrast? And in that, contrast always is clarified by asking yourself, what is it that I do want? What do I want? Why do I want it? That's important, because it gets you into the vibration of really getting to dream and think and really start to get into that creative place of why you want something. And that bringing that feeling in will start the vibrational shift, and law of attraction will start giving you more. You're on that frequency, start giving you different ideas that you didn't even think about before. So what do you want? Why do you want it? How do you want to feel? Because we always, at the bottom line, whenever we're desiring anything, we want to feel something. What do you want to feel in your relationship, in all aspects of your relationship with your partner, when you're with your extended family, in the aspect of money, when you're with the kids, in your health of your bodies, all these different aspects. So we're going to drill this down really deep into the couples retreat, so that by the time you leave, you have a very clear vision from a macro level. And then teach you like how we did it, how we do it on a daily basis.
On a regular basis. Together.
What's the vision for the day? What do we have coming up this weekend? We were talking about, okay, when do we want to put up the Christmas tree? Where do we want to put the Christmas tree? We talk about these things so that when we do the thing, the vision has already been talked about. And do we correct and continue and adjust? Absolutely. But
at least we understand each other when there's something that we both want to do, or each one of us thinks that there's something important. For her, for example, she wants to put the Christmas tree as early as possible.
And take it down as early as possible.
And take it down as early as possible as well. So, hey.
Because he would have it until March.
I'm okay to have it the whole year. Let's celebrate.
So that's how you have to kind of compromise sometimes in your visions. No, and it's important. We were even talking about on the other show, I was saying, hey, I'd love for you to contribute more. And Rob, our producer, was like, holy crap, you guys actually, really do this shit. You guys really practice what you preach and communicate. I'm like, hey, I'm feeling like this is what I'd like. And he's like, okay, I hear you. Right? And so he's like, God damn, you guys really do. You practice what you preach. So that's why we stay a conscious, connected couples, because these things are things that we learned, we've applied in our relationship. They're tried and true, and grateful for our teachers in the past that have taught us this. And like we've said, we're not perfect. We're a couple just doing it. We got kids that are young and, going through life. And
we've got human reactions, just like everyone else. And we just know kind of how, when it comes up, how to deal with those. That's
Absolutely. So I hope that you're enjoying the show, and I'm really grateful that you listen or watch, however you want to do that. So if you're interested in spending a weekend with us in Scottsdale, Arizona, you can go to christywhitman.com/couples, and we have very limited space, but very intimate, and it's going to be a lot of fun to spend some time with us and create your visions, and to be able to really apply the 7 rules of relationship, plus do some goddess and warrior work, and much, much, much more. So have an amazing week, everyone, and we'll see you on the next episode where we talk about distractions.
Have a good week.
Thanks for listening to Conscious Coupling with Frederic Gobet and Christy Whitman. If you like our show and want to know more, check out christywhitman.com. And please leave us a review on iTunes. Learn how to turn your partner into your soulmate. Join us again next week for another powerful episode.